How important has customer loyalty and community been for the growth of SURI?
I truly believe it's like the bedrock of our business. The customers loving the quality of the product, the mission of the product, and also like, how we treat them after purchase is really kind of like core of what makes SURI great.
Mark Rushmore is the co-founder of SURI, Sustainable Rituals, a challenger brand shaking up the electric toothbrush market with style, purpose, and planet-first thinking.
The concept of death really inspires me to make the most out of my time. I just want to squeeze as much juice as I can, moment and opportunity that I have whilst I'm alive. We've only got this limited time. I'm going to take the risk, love as much as I can, care as much as I can, try as hard as I can.
Welcome to Screw It, Just Do It, the show for those who decided to screw it and just did it. I'm Alex Chisnall, host of this podcast and co-founder of the Festival of Entrepreneurs at the NEC in Birmingham this October 8th and 9th. This is the podcast that brings you face-to-face with the entrepreneurs and business rebels who threw caution to the wind and built something extraordinary. Want to surround yourself with 5,000 to 10,000 entrepreneurs who've already decided to screw it and just do it? The Festival of Entrepreneurs is happening October the 8th and 9th at the NEC Birmingham, and I'm giving away free 2-day pass to my listeners. 200 plus speakers, 90 plus sessions, billion-pound entrepreneurs sharing their real stories, not theory, but the actual strategies they use to scale. Head to festivalofentrepreneurs.co.uk right now and claim your free pass, because the best networking happens when you're in the room with people who've already decided to screw it and just did it.
I know you would have told this a few times before, but where did the idea for SURI come from then?
The idea actually came, it was a bizarre meeting. So I was in the south of France and I met my co-founder Guy just by pure luck. And we got chatting at this industry event, and it turned out that he'd also worked at Procter Gamble previously. So he worked on Gillette and specifically Enos in finance and marketing functions. And I worked at Procter Gamble in the UK in sales and strategy roles. And so we just got chatting, and, Guy was like, it's just crazy when you think about the amount of plastic packaging that's, in these FMCG products, and also that, they hadn't really evolved much in terms of customer experience, like very good at like mass retail, but not necessarily thinking about things in the way that like maybe Apple had redefined consumer experience. And so it was at that very first meeting, he said, look, I really believed, there's this big future of more sustainable consumer brands with better experience. And when you look at them, like there's some which are terrible, including oral care. So every year, billions and billions of brushes are thrown out and end up in our landfills and oceans. In fact, Alex, probably like virtually every brush you've ever used since you're a child still exists somewhere because of the materials that they're made out of, which, you kind of don't think about. But when you take a second to think about it, and then you multiply that by everyone you see because everyone brushes their teeth, you realize it's like a huge amount of waste. And then we thought, okay, well, there's something here. I wonder if we can make it more sustainable. And then beyond that, like, but what about the rest? Like, do people use Bluetooth? Like, I don't know, like, did you ever use Bluetooth when you use your electric toothbrush?
No.
Right. But probably the battery dies really regularly because of things that you don't use, like Bluetooth, or like 7 different modes or 9 different flashing lights. And people hate that gunk that comes on the bottom of the brush and accumulates and you have to clean. It's disgusting. And often people told us they wouldn't take the brush when you're traveling because it's bulky, it's heavy, and you need this like special charger that only works with your toothbrush. So we kind of thought further, like, well, what if we could make a brush that's both more sustainable but had like features that people really want? So, maybe we could make a brush that has like just as a higher performance, gives you a really great quality of clean, that looks great, has great features, and is more sustainable. And that was the hypothesis and the birth of SURI.
At that point in time, I'm sure maybe things have changed over the last couple of years, but what was the kind of overarching vision of where you were going to go from right here, right now, the two of you having that conversation, and ultimately, where do you want to get to?
Loads of, like, it's going to sound so basic, but loads of people brush their teeth. I mean, it is one of the highest penetration categories of all categories. It's like, and it doesn't matter whether you're in the UK or Japan or Canada or Oman, like it's everyone brushes their teeth. And so in terms of, the scale of the opportunity, we believe that if we can make a product that delivers on 3 kind of key areas. One is performance. So it has to give you as higher quality clean than competitors. It has great features. So, we have a 40-day battery life. We have a unique travel case that it kills 99% of bacteria. We have a magnetic mirror mount so that you can store your brush on the wall and it doesn't get that crusty gunk. Basic features, but features that people love. And if, we can be more sustainable, so whether that's using materials like we use plant-based materials in our head and bristles, and also aluminium in our body, and we offer free recycling. We're actually about to announce, this is probably an exclusive, but we've been working with the University of Exeter on like what we can do with our recycled heads, and we've gathered over 500 kilograms, and soon we'll be talking about like new products that we're making out of them, which is this really great circular innovation. And so if we can do that and maintain, we've got a 4.8 out of 5 rating from over 10,000 reviews on Trustpilot, which, really kind of shows like how much customers love what we're doing, how we're doing it. We believe we can take that to, people who brush their teeth anywhere in the world. And so then, the opportunity really is to build a globally loved brand that redefines expectations in oral care.
If you're enjoying this conversation and thinking, I need to be around more people like this, then I've got the perfect solution for you. The Festival of Entrepreneurs is where 5,000 to 10,000 ambitious entrepreneurs come together to learn from the people who've actually done it. It's on October the 8th and 9th at the NEC in Birmingham, and I'm giving my listeners free 2-day passes. Real entrepreneurs, real stories, real strategies. Exactly like what you're hearing right now, but live and in person. Go to festivalofentrepreneurs.co.uk and get your free 2-day pass before they're gone.
And up to this point in time, has anything held you back from that? Because it's a huge vision, obviously, but like you say, the ceiling is infinity, isn't it? But anything that's held you back up to this point?
Everything holds you back. It's sort of like, it's like that like initial resistance to get anything moving. That's, like there have been, from the outset, we went to, I think it was like 24 different factories to say like, hey, we want to use these new materials. We want to, create a unique design and I want to have these features and not those features. And, many of the factories simply just laugh and like, there's no way that material can work. Like, why would you want that to last longer? We're in the game of selling more brushes, and if they break, that's great. And so, it took a long time to find someone who would work with us. And so that, from the beginning, we had that resistance. And then, every week there's some sort of, new hurdle, challenge to overcome. And I think what's been really interesting is seeing how, things that we're told are impossible or can't be done, one by one, it's like, oh, that wasn't impossible. Oh, it can be done. Oh, they said no, but now it's a yes. And that starts building, I think, a bit of a muscle to kind of, continue persisting in the face of ongoing adversity. As much as I'd love it to just be like super easy, I can't pretend it is.
No, I always remember Al Barrett from Grenades, saying to me, he said, my role these days is literally just to come into work and put out the next fire and then move on to the next fire and move on to the next fire.
It's like, I definitely sympathize with that. I think there's like a viral video of Elon Musk describing the role of the founder of a business, like the toughest problems sort of flow up. So you're constantly trying to help solve the most difficult challenges on the business. And that definitely, I feel that.
How helpful has it been, like, having a co-founder who clearly has a different skill set to you as well, which must enhance the business? But yeah, how more helpful is it on having someone else to kind of share the load when it comes to, fighting those fires and taking on all those worries?
You know what? Like, it's one of these things where there are so many pros and cons to having a co-founder. Like, it's not like, oh, everything is better with a co-founder, and it's far from like everything's worse with a co-founder. I think what Dave and I try and do, and I've always said, is like, it's always got to be like greater than the sum of its parts. So, like the 1 + 1 = 3, or it has to equal at least, 2.5. And so we work really hard on that relationship and doing things differently, because we do have complementary but different skill sets, whether that's like functional, like finance and marketing, or sales and strategy, or even, personality wise, I'm much more of a sort of big picture person. He's much more of a details person. And so in some ways that can sometimes truthfully like cause a bit of conflict, because he'll want to get right into the details immediately. I'll be like, oh, no, we need to like look at the big picture. And that can be difficult. But what we tend to find is actually when we kind of blend the best of both at the right moments, we get an ultimately better outcome. So yeah, it's great. And also I must say, when you're riding the highs, it's so great to do it with someone. But also when there's lows, when something's going wrong, I can't imagine not doing it with Keith. You know, like it's like we're kind of there through thick and thin, and it feels I don't know what the word is. Maybe it's reassuring, or you just kind of feel like if one of us is a bit tired or down, the other one can pick them up, and we kind of constantly sort of like navigating like that.
Yeah, no, I'm genuinely interested. Like I said, I've been in business since 2009, since I left Virgin, and I've always been a solo founder. And then now with a new events business, which we're super grateful for you to be joining us in October. It's like I've got a co-founder, and it's just like, this is so different. And I'm sure there'll be bumps in the road, as you say, when it comes to like conflicting ideas maybe. But at the moment, it's really nice just to share, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm struggling with, can you help? It's a different ball game, really is.
That conversation just proves something. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So here's my challenge: upgrade your network. The Festival of Entrepreneurs is happening October the 8th and 9th, and I'm giving my listeners free 2-day passes to get in the room with 5,000 to 10,000 entrepreneurs who are actually building something. This is where the risk takers, the game changers, and the people who've decided to screw it and just do it come for inspiration, education, and connection. Don't just listen to their success stories, go meet the people living them. Grab your free pass now, because the biggest risk isn't taking a chance, it's missing the opportunity entirely. If this conversation resonated with you, don't just sit there, act on it. Make sure you follow or subscribe for more game-changing conversations, and remember, the only thing standing between you and your business breakthrough is the decision to screw it and just do it.